Wow, that is a clip from the new biographical drama Sarah's Oil. It tells the story of a young African-American girl who became one of the nation's first woman black millionaires after discovering oil on her family land when she was only 11 years old. Kenric Green is an actor who stars in this film, and he joins us this morning. Kenric, it is great to have you with us, sir.
Hey, great to be with you. Thank you.
This looks like an incredible film, and your character, you play Sarah's dad, your Joe.
That's right.
Talk a little bit about your daughter, and then we're going to talk about your character a little bit more.
Man. Well, my daughter,
Yeah.
Sarah, she's amazing. The real Sarah Rector, Naya, who plays Sarah, such an intelligent, ambitious young woman who lives faith forward and is living by her conviction. She believes she hears from God that there's oil on her land and she won't be stopped.
And what is it like for you as the dad in this role as Joe, as far as supporting your daughter or saying, wait a minute, you sure? You know, because there was some doubt right there,
Right.
But she had it made up in her mind that no, this is land that's ours and this is land that could potentially create a lot of revenue.
Right. You know, it's an interesting dynamic because obviously in those days, families were not familiar. Black families
Of
were not
course
familiar
not.
with the oil business or anything like that, right? It was everything just as you inherited the land, it was everything just to pay the taxes to keep it. You know, I
Right.
know originally, you know, as Joe, I wanted to sell it because like we can't even afford the taxes. But she was like, no, I believe that God told me there's oil on this land. So it was this interesting dynamic of instilling faith in our child and then being challenged by that faith to kind of shepherd her through it or challenge her and say, no, we're selling. And so it was an interesting thing to play. Ultimately, you know, we went with the faith, you know, faith forward as we instilled in her, and it worked out.
Thank goodness, right?
Yes.
Thank goodness for
Yes.
that. One of the things that I think that is so cool about your role is your wife in the film is actually your real wife.
Yes.
How is that? Y'all being able to work on the set together and whatnot?
Oh man, it's the best. It's
Yeah.
a dream come true. You know, it created a dynamic on set with Naya, with Adion, who plays Junior, where the four of us could really have that kind of family intimacy in between takes that I believe really translated into the movie so that it served the overall story.
Does it just make it easier because the chemistry is technically already there, although you're acting, but you're like, no, wait, this is my legit wife, so
Right.
I don't really have to try.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, it is. In some ways it is, but in other ways it's different, right? Because we're not, this is Oklahoma 1914.
That's true.
Whereas like, this is certainly not LA 2025, you know, for us. And so it was fun. You know, there was a security there, but then there's also, we are two different artists, so we have our ways where we could work together, but then we have our ways where we're like, okay, we shared this, now we got to go off and kind of do our own, you know, do our own work to kind of make it real for ourselves and then come back together. So there was a safety in the adventure of it and the fun.
That's why y'all are professionals. Y'all can do stuff like that, right? Well, Sarah's Oil was shot on location in Oklahoma. This was during summer of 2024. What was it like being out there?
You know, it's my first time to Oklahoma. Through this story, I learned a lot about the history of Oklahoma and everything and how significant it is to America, to us as Black folks. And it was an experience I'll never forget. And I'll tell you what, it's also hot. I was familiar with the Georgia heat. I didn't know about that
different kind of
Oklahoma
heat, though.
I didn't know about it. I thought I was
yeah.
ready, you know.
Tell us one last thing, because I believe that there's somebody watching right now and a message in this film, you know, about potentially sitting on quote unquote worthless land. There are people who have ideas that they're sitting on. Atlanta's the place of dreams, right?
Right.
What do you say about how this movie will inspire people to maybe trust their intuition, if they are faith people, to trust God in a moment like that?
Yes, you know, I think this story just shows faith in action. That's the thing I always come back to. And so what we see through Sarah and what I pray everybody who sees the movie experiences for themselves is like there is a dream in there that God placed inside you. Whatever that might be at whatever scale, whether it's large, you know, to change the world, or whether it's just within your own house, but to have the conviction to move forward in that regardless of what you might see or feel or what someone else might say in that moment, and just keep moving forward, keep overcoming whatever obstacle there is, because there's no such thing as an obstacle-free life.
That's right. That's an important message for sure. Kenric Green, thank you so much for being with us.